Dreams is alive, boys. I told you guys, just gotta believe. So what's going on, guys? It is Online here. Welcome back to the video. As you guys saw by that opening video, Dreams is pretty much confirmed for PSX, and yeah, I guess that's kind of like the good news, because the rest of it, to probably the most of you, I'd guess, it's probably bad. So yeah, this is not good, because obviously, you know, PSX is always a great time of the year. Always we look forward to the end of the year, because PSX brings us, you know, pretty much PlayStation's second conference of the year, where they announce pretty cool stuff. You know, we always expect Naughty Dog to be there of all people, and usually it's pretty cool. You know, it's the same week as the Game Awards. It's usually a pretty cool week. So yeah, I guess pretty much this year they're not going to be really putting that much of an emphasis on it. You know, they had their whole Paris Games Week last week, and I guess all their announcements from PSX were mainly pushed over to Paris Games Week. So that means that probably Ghost of Tsushima was most likely planned to be announced at PSX until, you know, Sony pretty much decided to shift gears and make Paris Games Week a lot more of, you know, an actual conference this year instead of PSX. But don't fret completely, because, you know, PSX is still going to be having kind of like a quote-unquote showcase, as Sid Schumann said on the PlayStation blog. Pretty much what's going down is early bid ticket holders, people that have already had their tickets for PSX, that have already, you know, got their tickets quite early, are going to be able to go to a Friday night event where Sean Layden's going to be, you know, kind of like introducing everybody, pretty much having like a little bit of a short, you know, introduction to the whole entire event that's going on that weekend. And pretty much included with that are some special guests, some surprises, and game updates. I'm trying to think of updates that they have left to say, and maybe what God of War, you know, maybe they'll release some, you know, release dates. They don't really say anything in terms of like announcements, so maybe not anything new. Maybe we'll possibly still see that Last of Us Part 2 gameplay that I mentioned in my whole entire analysis video, because, you know, Neil did say we're going to see something soon. So you got to imagine that, you know, with the Game Awards and PSX going on that weekend, you'd think it would probably be PSX of all places. But so far, we know that we're going to get updates on Dreams and Ghost of Tsushima. We don't know if Ghost of Tsushima will technically be at the, you know, the whole, you know, I guess you can't really say keynote, but the whole quote-unquote showcase. I always predicted that, you know, PlayStation kind of split the Ghost of Tsushima announcement. Pretty much, you know, every single time Sony announces a new IP, they like to show off gameplay with it. You saw this with Days Gone, and you also saw this with Horizon Zero Dawn. They always show gameplay immediately after the reveal, and it felt kind of weird that Sucker Punch didn't show off any gameplay at Paris Games Week. Personally, I figured they'd show off the trailer here, and a couple weeks later at PSX, they'd show off the gameplay premiere. So I still think that's still a possibility. They did say game updates, and they did mention Ghost of Tsushima, so it's possible that they'll show gameplay off there. It's also important to note that for the first time ever, Media Molecule and Sucker Punch will actually be at PSX, which is pretty cool. I remember going to PSX a couple years ago, and I was kind of bummed to see that, you know, some of my favorite developers were not there. You know, of course we have Naughty Dog and stuff, but, you know, we're kind of missing some of the developers, so it's pretty cool to see more of the worldwide studios going there, especially Sucker Punch and Media Molecule. They're like the main focuses pretty much so far on the event that have been announced so far. In fact, as you guys saw by the video at the very beginning of this video, I guess that's kind of ironic there, but, you know, Media Molecule pretty much gave an official statement on their Twitter page saying that Dreams is pretty much coming to PSX. They kind of made a little video in their own game engine, or their own game, pretty much creating like a little announcement video in their own, you know, level editor with Dreams, which is pretty neat. They did reply to like a person commenting at them saying, will there be a single player campaign, or like, you know, a story thing, and they did say that yes, there's gonna be a story mode to Dreams, which I think we all knew that was gonna come. You know, that had to be a case. You can't just buy Dreams without, you know, a single player mode. But yeah, that's always been like the biggest rumor going around, or like the biggest thing people have been talking about, that Media Molecule has been at hard work working on like a Dreams, you know, single player mode. That way they can actually advertise the game besides just a level editor, because it's kind of hard to do that, you know. So it's pretty cool to see Dreams is coming back. I'm very looking forward to this game, because I've loved Media Molecule's projects in the past. You know, Tearaway kind of fell flat for me. I didn't really care about it too much. It was still a good game on the Vita. You know, just definitely Little Planet. I loved those games back when I was a kid, so it's really cool to see Media Molecule finally getting a game running. You know, the first time we saw Dreams was like way back at the initial PS4 reveal, and we still haven't seen it come out, so it's going to be very exciting to finally see this game, you know, once again. And it's been a long journey, and we can just hope that the game looks amazing and that they've been hard at work on it, which I hope is the case. So yeah, what else can I say? I mean, I'm kind of bummed that PSX is no longer going to be an event just because of Paris Games Week. I wish they would have kind of found something in the middle. I definitely wouldn't rule it out completely, because, you know, we still have things like God of War's release date, you know, possibly Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, but can we really expect PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2? Can we really expect, you know, From Software's new game? I'm really bummed by that, because those were games I definitely were looking forward to possibly seeing at E3, and then I was like, well, they definitely have to be at PSX, you'd think, so yeah, it's definitely very interesting. Not to mention, you know, Sony's already big lineup is already, you know, diverse. But it would have been nice to see this kind of, you know, spread out, because it felt like ever since Sony's, you know, E3 2016 and PSX 2016, their past two conferences have been kind of and not over, you know, they're not really hitting that mark that they did back in the day. So hopefully in the future they'll, you know, spread out their announcements, and hopefully we can still expect a good show for PSX. It's definitely like my second favorite time of the year in terms of, you know, game announcements after E3. I definitely like E3 more in a way, but there is a special thing with PSX that I love, because, you know, not only was I there for like the second one and I really liked, you know, the whole vibe that the keynote always gives, you know, for the fans, but I also just love how those panels at the end, you know, right after you hear about a game, you can know more information like we did with Last of Us last year. And, you know, it feels very more centered around the fans and like more getting more information. Just, you know, you could just focus on Game Awards and PSX for that week, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of like that second E3 half stop in the way, I guess. So yeah, very bumming news. You know, I wasn't really delighted to hear this. I am happy for Dreams and Medium Yolko, that whole team there. Very excited for that, as well as Sucker Punch to finally be coming to PSX. Very cool indeed. Those are like the two games that are confirmed for PSX at the moment. So yeah, I guess PSX this year is so far going to be, you know, more centered around a fan event with, you know, people coming there for panels and, you know, be able to play test games, and really their big announcements were kind of pushed towards Paris Games Week, which I was like, there wasn't really that many to begin with, honestly. I mean, I guess if you think about it, there was quite a few that they could have had at PSX, like, you know, the whole Blood and Truth thing that might have just got pushed over to Paris Games Week, but yeah, I'm definitely, you know, crossing my fingers for something cool of Last of Us, because I definitely wanted to see gameplay by the end of the year. I think a lot of people still do. And just, of course, things like From Software's new game, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2 was definitely up there on the list. You know, Spyro for my boy Blue Danger there. But yeah, you know, I guess just time will tell whether this conference will actually disappoint or actually, you know, satisfy us. So yeah, I was going to make a video talking about how Paris Games Week will affect PSX, but it looks like this will be that video. I mean, sadly, I mean, yeah. So of course, I can't wait for PSX nonetheless. That whole week with the Game Awards is always a fun time of the year, nonetheless, watching the conferences with friends, you know, so hope to do that the same this year. So yeah, I guess make sure to leave your comments down below. How you guys think about this news? I mean, obviously that gut reaction to you is probably going to be like, I'm disappointed. But yeah, I guess just it depends how you look at it. I'm just trying to see how they can still fit this in. I'm optimistic, but the way they've been working at this thing is just, you know, it's going to be quite light compared to Paris Games Week, which is already not that good of a conference. I mean, I think it was mediocre, but I felt like they were definitely going to like have a half conference there and another half conference at PSX. So now that we know that most of the announcements were there and there's not really much left for PSX, that's quite concerning. Make sure to let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. And of course, I've been online, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.